Okay, so ma'am, if you allow, then can we start?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, so good afternoon to all, and good afternoon, ma'am. So now, before starting this session, so let me introduce our eminent speaker. So the next speaker is Dr. Ritu Sharma, ma'am. So she is the associate professor at the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at MNIT Jaipur. She completed his PhD in photonics engineering from MNIT Jaipur, and she also completed her MTech from MREC, and she did his BTech in electronics and communication engineering from MBM Jodhpur. And the ma'am has worked on the optics and photonics during his PhD and has various journal publications in the field of photonics, superconductivity, and MEMS. Presently, she is working in the area of MEMS, names, fabrication, and application of CNTs, nanophotonics, silicon nanowires for solar cell applications, high temperature, superconductivity. She has the ongoing DST projects on photonics, consultancy projects on silicon nanowire and CNTs. Her current research interest includes the communication engineering and optics, fabrication and characterization of nanoelectronic and nanophotonic devices based on low-cost materials, nanomaterials for nano-optoelectronics and nano-piezoelectronic devices, optoelectronic and photonic solar cells, biophysics, MEMS, and nanoelectronic devices, optoelectronics and pattern recognition, etc. So basically, in this particular lecture, the ma'am will be engaging it on the COMSOL multiphysics. So basically, that will be very useful and some kind you can say it's the hands-on session. And ma'am will explain or just show something to us by designing some optical component or device. So now I am handing over the session to you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you, Amit. Good afternoon to all the participants, and I welcome you all for this session. And I was just in a mood of taking designing using COMSOL and how we can do the model analysis of devices, photonic devices, by using this COMSOL multiphysics. COMSOL multiphysics is, as the name suggests, it is common solution and there is a multiphysics involved in it. It is giving a common solution to the various, you can say, problems or the designs which we are trying to find out, which was very difficult. So it also gives us what are the fields which are being generated in those devices, what is the physics involved in those devices, and how we can converge to a result by using this particular software. Okay. So this is a very vast software and it is useful to most of all the domains. Like it is useful for fluid mechanics, it is useful for AC-DC circuit, acoustic, for pipe flow, and it has a multi-use. So for our purpose, because we are focusing on the optics, I'll just design a simple photonic crystal fiber and how we can do the modern analysis using this. Okay, there are other, then I'll take a design based on this cantilever structures so that you can have a overview of how this PCF can be designed. Even you can design waveguides, you can design multiplexers, add-drop filters of photonics, and of optical also you can design optical fibers. So the imagination is yours and you can use the software for your purpose. Okay, so my screen is visible to you. When you open the COMSOL multiphysics, that has to be downloaded on your laptop, and 5.2a we are working on, and then you will get this screen in which you have to click on the model wizard. When you click on the model wizard, you will get these icons. Now here, if your structure is a 3-dimensional structure, then you can go for the 3D this tab, because we are going for the cross-sectional view. So we are working on now on the 2D. Okay. So once you click on the 2D, now these are the physics which we need to add. So we should know what physics, on which physics we need to work. So that need to be added before starting for any of the design. So because it is optics module, we'll be working on optic module. So if you can look here, there is an arrow. Okay, this is a triangle. So when you just click on it, so you will get it all the inbuilt, you can say, modules into it. So here you have a 2 module, which is your ray optic, and another is your wave optic. So in wave optic, again, on that triangle, when you'll click, you'll get what physics you need to be add. So we'll work on the frequency domain. So you have to double click it. Okay. And once you double click it, that physics will be added here. Okay. And then you have to click on the study. Okay. Once you click on the study, you'll get what are the present studies available in it. So as we are focusing on your model analysis, there is an eigenfrequency, frequency domain, boundary mode analysis, what analysis you require to do. So here we are using model analysis. So once you have clicked on it and then you do it, done. So you will get a work plane. Okay. So this is a work plane in which you can make your designs. Okay. On this work plane. Now on this work plane, here this is, it is something like a graph which you are, because this is 2-dimensional. So it is a 2-dimensional X and Y plane which we got it. Okay. 3-dimensional, then we'll have a Z, X and Y plane which we'll get it. Now, first what we have to do it, what is the basically in the geometry, what will be the length in which dimension we are going to work. So that again you have a drop down menu. You just click on it, and once you can select which dimension you are working. Okay, whether it is a feet, it is a centimeter, it is a decibel, or it is a kilometer, what dimension, inches and a millimeter. So that dimension you should know in which you are working. So as we are working in the micrometer, I'll just choose it. Then here in the global definitions, okay, just right click that particular icon, and you can define your parameters. So for any photonic crystal fiber, you should know what is the diameter of the air hole and what is the pitch between the 2 air hole. Pitch is defined as your center to center distance between 2 air holes. So here I can define any name to my this. Suppose I'm taking pitch P and I'm writing it in this way. What should be my pitch? Suppose it is 0.1, and then you have to use this square bracket for defining your unit. Okay, so it is 0.1 micrometer, and another I am giving it. It is defining the diameter of that particular key. It is any diameter we can choose key, whether it is your pitch dependent, or you can even say it is you can give a numerical value also. So I'm just giving it. It is 0.15 to my pitch. This is hard and fast. Okay. This is actually I'm giving it in the form of variable because it makes me easy to keep making it. Okay. So that only I'll D1 I'll just keep. And then once you have defined these variables, then now you go for this in the component, you'll find geometry. Okay. So again, there is a drop down menu. What you do, any icon which you want to use, you just right click it. So once you right click it, you will find that these all geometries are available. Like you have a circle, ellipse, rectangle, square, all interpolation curve, parametric curve, point, polygon, all these are there. So because we are defining PCF, so we need a circle. So it will automatically come here on this side. And now you have to define what is the radius of your this thing. So as I have defined it as D1, so I'll write it here D1. And where you want to, what is the position of your this circle? So I'm starting this circle from the 0, 0 on this plane from point 0, 0. So it will be built somewhere here. Okay. So after each and every this thing object which you are selecting, you have to click on the build selected. So when you do it, you will just see a circle is formed on this particular. Now, this in this way you can have any. Now this is you can even name your circle also. You can label all these things also. Okay. Circle 1 is okay. We will say this is the first circle which we are making. Now we want the another circle for this. So again, you can either duplicate it or you can click on the geometry, right click on the geometry. Then again, you can have one more circle. Okay. And diameter of that is again same D1. And then we have to decide it where we have to place it. So this X and Y coordinate, we have to decide for it. Okay. I can even change, I'll just show you. If I go for the this parameters also, I can even change these dimension. And what happens when we change the dimension? Suppose I'm changing the pitch. Okay. I'm changing it to suppose 0.1. Okay. And then again, I'm going to the circle and I'm doing it build selected. You can see now it has again changed. Okay. So you can change anything. Now here, X for circle 2, we have to choose the this thing dimensions. So P into cos 0, and the Y position will be, you can select this sin 0. And you can go for the build selected. There's some mistake in the expression. Wait. This 0 was there. Actually, the one which was built, I have to reduce the dimension further because it is not, I'm not able to view it on this. So I'll again go for this, and I can even reduce my this pitch to. Actually, you have to first optimize it. You have to select some papers, which paper you are using it. And from that paper, first you have to design your this. I'm just giving a steps to make it. Okay. I'll show you my Just wait a minute. I'll go to this. Now I'll just yes. Now I'll start on this only. So as I said, I have defined 0.1 micrometer and then D1 0.15 into pitch. Okay. And then when you click on the circle, you have to define the radius because the variable was D1. So, and position is 0, 0. So you can see on this work plane, it is on 0, 0 with this D1 diameter. You can even give radius also. And once you have done build selected, so this gets selected. Now, after that, what you have to do is you again right click on the geometry and then take the another circle, circle 2. So again, only what we have to do is it should be placed at a distance of pitch at this point. So what we have defined the pitch as 0.1. So 0.1 with the you can say diameter of defined variable. This should be, so when you make it build selected, you will get this. So if you just look into the work plane, you will find key it is at a distance of 0.1. The center to center distance is 0.1. Okay. So these are two, this is the first ring which we are making. Now, again, what you do, you go to the geometry, right click on it, and then you'll get circle, and then you make it circle 3. Okay. So circle 3, now we have to decide it, it should be a hexagon. Okay. If you we are going for a hexagonal geometry, so the angle should be 60 degree. So what I have done is, again, I have positioned it x and y as p cos pi 180 into 60 and p sin pi 180 into 60. And then, so you just see we got a hexagonal geometry. Okay. And now this angle, if you will measure, each angle will be of your 60 degree. Okay. Now again, I have to make another, you can say circle. So again, you right click on the geometry, choose circle there, and you give the dimension of that circle. Now, even I can have, you can say at 30 degree, 45 degree, 50 degree. So this is what I am getting it at the 30 degree angle. Okay. So it depends. This is not, if you have hexagonal, then each will be at 60 degree first ring. But I'm making it a general structure without any description whether it is an hexagonal or octagonal or decagonal. So I'm just placing it at 30 degree. Now, after this, what we can do is we can mirror it. Okay. What, and in mirror, what we have to do is you go to the geometry. Okay. And in the geometry, you have a transform. Okay. Click to the transform. There you have a mirror, this thing. Okay. Once you click on the mirror, just this on the mirror, you will find this particular object being opened. So now what you need to mirror? So that you click. So you click on this. So this will be reflected here on in the active window, C2. Then you go for this, it will be C5. Then you, this is saying it is C5. That was C3 and C5. Okay. Now these things I want to mirror. Okay. Now, very important thing is you have to click on the icon, keep the input object. Okay. Otherwise, these objects will be shifted to other side and it won't remain here. Okay. And then you have to define here where you need to mirror it. So you have, now you have to change your normal vector to reflection. What will be your reflected vector? And when you say it build selected, you'll see it has been mirrored on the other side. Okay. Now, so this is what we have done it for this particular. Now, one hole is missing here. So again, what you can do, you click on this geometry, okay, and then take a circle, okay, and now define this circle parameters again. So I'll say, okay, suppose this is again diameter is d1 because that we have defined, okay, and from the center only, and we have to now select the positions of it. So again, you write it down the same. Even you can do it. You don't want to write it down again and again. So you can duplicate that particular cell also. Okay. Suppose I don't want to write it down. So what I'll do, I'll right click on this. Okay. I'll right click on this and I'll write duplicate. So I'll get this cell 13 and there I can just modify my angle and I can write it down as 90. Okay. And 90. So, and when I'll say, one mistake because I have not defined that is, that's why just you can delete whatever you don't want. Okay. That can be deleted easily because I'm just now. So this mirror, okay, and I'll keep the input object and I'll say build selected. So this up to this point I have just explained you. Now I want one more at this 90 degree. So it is the same which I have told you because in between flow some circles I have not defined. That's why it was giving me syntax error. And when you will say build selected, you will get this selected. Okay. Now thus as it is, we want this should appear on the bottom. So again you have to do mirror. Okay. So you go for the geometry, right click on it, and then you say mirror. Now what all you need to mirror, that particular cells you have to select it. This I need to mirror, this I need to, once all, and it is very important that all should be blue. Okay. And these active domain should be there in your active window. Otherwise the air hole which you leave, that will not be mirrored. Okay. And the another important thing is you have to keep this, keep input object. I'll show you if I remove this. Okay. And then if I'll show build selected, you can see this. The input objects were not being kept and it got shifted on the bottom side. So this is very important. You have to right click this icon and then you have to. So this is your first layer which is being formed. Now only one thing is, now this is a normal vector to in which plane you need to reflect, because my x plane was the same plane. This is your x plane and the shifting has to be done in the y plane. That's why I have given it 1 on this side. Okay, 0 1. If I'll say 1 1, so it will not be reflected on the bottom side. Okay. So after this, what is important is you keep saving your design. Okay. Otherwise, if you not save it, so whatever you have done may get erased. Now we have to go for the second layer. Okay. This is one ring which we have made of the PCF. This is a cross-sectional dimension which we are talking of. Okay. So this is one layer which we are. Now the second layer, again you right click on the geometry, okay, and take a circle. So this circle as we have taken it. Again you have to define in the same way. Now this particular key, what should be the, from the center, what should be the position of your this ring? Okay, where you need to position your PCF, the second ring, this. So this is 1.5 is key. I want to just position it here, or you can keep it at 2. So this okay, because this center to center difference should be pitch only. So here also center to center difference should be pitch only. Okay. So again, if I'll keep it, build selected. So I got it. As it is on the 30-degree angle, so you can see ki from the 0, it has made a 30-degree angle. And this particular distance will be 1.5 into pitch into, this is the angle which we are getting it in terms of your cos and in terms of your sine. Okay. And because I have not made it this, so I'll get it this one. Okay. So this is at 30, this is at 45, this is at 60. So I kept changing the angle and I got these rings. Now, after this, you can even mirror also. Okay. So what all need to be mirrored? You can see that I have selected it. C6, C7, and C8. Once you click on it, they'll get blue, and that can be, you can select. And again, you see I have kept that this icon, right click, and you can go for the, so this got okay. Then at 90-degree also I want a circle, so I'll go for it. So once, and another one at 75. So ordering, it is not important key, and again I have mirrored it. This particular cell should be mirrored here because I missed that in between. So ordering is not important. It is not important ki what order you have to follow. Only thing is ki geometry, you should know ki what geometry you need to make. Okay. And you go for it. Okay. So this here in transform, you have that when you drop down menu, you will find it ki you have a mirror. You have an array also. That array also you can make it. And you can even rotate. You can even move your geometry. Okay. So after, once I have selected all this, again I'll mirror it. So just you check it here. I have mirrored the planes here. He sees this hole, and my vector reflection was 1, 1. And when I'll make it build selected, so on this left side, I got all these geometry. Again, I have mirrored it, and in the plane of 1, 0, so you just find on x-axis, because it was, I'm just reflecting it on the x-axis side, so I got it on this side. And finally, because the bottom one is left, so these 1, 2, 3, 4, I need to mirror it on the bottom side. So I have kept it 0, 1, and then build selected. So finally, this air holes has been made. Now, because I also want to have a cladding in which these air holes should be there. So I have used a cladding. Now cladding radius, I have 1.75 into pitch, and once I'll do it, build select. So this is the 2-ring PCF structure. And here the back section, this one, the bigger circle shows the cladding, and the smaller circle shows the air holes in that cladding. Now, this is just we are saying it. Now, the next step in all the geometries, once you make a geometry, you have to define the material. Okay, without defining the material, you can say the simulator doesn't know ki, what all materials I need to use it for that, for analysis purpose. So you have again here, you can say materials. So when you click on those material, you have an add material icon. Okay. So there you can just click it, and on the side you find so many materials are present. Now, as I said, we should know ki for what purpose we are using those material. Like if you are working on the AC/DC, the electrical circuits, so you have to choose the material from the electrical circuits only. If you are working on the liquids and gases, you have to choose the inbuilt library of the materials from that. Because why is it so? Because they have defined the permittivity, permeability, dielectric constant, all these things. So we need not to worry about all those. Otherwise, if these properties are not being defined, we should know the property. Manually, if we'll define, then it becomes very difficult for us. Okay, so we should know all those. What is the Young's modulus? What is their stress? What is their strain? And all these things. So these user manuals, they have built-in material, or more or less, I think all the available materials on which the researchers are working, they have defined in this particular, and they keep updating also. So for PCF, you just go for built-in here, and we can find it, because we are going for silica glass as a cladding and air as a air holes. Okay, so those materials, just air, it is there. When you double click it, it will get, just double click it, and you will find it gets added in the material library. Okay, and now once your geometry is made, you just make it small. Okay, so that at least the other you can say icons you are being able to view. So I have already, as I have already added, the another material is being added into it. So I'll just remove it, delete it. Okay, because otherwise it will give me an error. Okay, so once air, I have chosen it, and silica glass for my cladding. So if you just look into it, just see, once you have added the material, you can even switch off this thing. So you just see the background portion, okay, is of silica glass, and it is going to give you in the active window domain 1. Okay, and if you just look here, these are the properties which are already being defined in this manual. You can even scroll these windows on the left and right side. Just you see, the refractive index real part is 1.45 because it's a silica glass, and imaginary is 0, relative permeability, electrical conductivity, density, all these things, Young's modulus of silica, everything is being defined here. Okay, you need not define anything here. Okay, and then when we go for the air hole, so you have to now, for air hole, you have to now each and every domain you have to click on it. Suppose just like say second, so this is showing this I have clicked. Third, when you click, these domains automatically comes here. Okay, automatically these come. So you are not supposed to leave any of the domain. Suppose I'll say ki I clicked this. Okay, this is like I did wrong. Ki unnecessary, I got my clicked here. So you will see ki, just see here. You will see the domain 1 appearing. So what you do, you just select this, and then there is a minus sign, and remove this selection. So now it is okay. Once you have done it, you just save it. Okay, now your background material or air holes are being defined. If anything is not defined properly, you will get a cross on this materials. Okay, or on the if the geometry is not defined properly, you will get a cross of it. That means it is not going to run. First you have to remove that error. Okay, then only it is going to work. Now, so the step is, first you define any parameter which you have. Okay, then you build your geometry by choosing your circle, blocks, parabola, anything, any geometry which you have, and then you have to define the materials. Okay, now after this, very important is you have to do meshing. Okay, because this is you can say software which is finite element based software. Okay, it depends on the it divides your geometry into small finite elements, and then it adds those elements. That means integrate those elements to converge it into the result. Okay. So this meshing is very important, and you have to define. So if you'll say, if you'll see here, you'll find there is a drop down menu which is showing it is a physics control mesh or user control mesh. So normally we are going for physics control mesh because it uses the inbuilt physics of the software. If we go for the user control mesh, then we have to define what will be our del x into del y. That means the finest element which we are going to choose for making this mesh. Mesh is something like you are jali laga rahe ho uske upar ek, so that each and every del x gets added up and then results get converged finally. Okay. So, and then when you check the element size, there are many type of element size. Okay. Like you have normal, fine, finer, extra fine, extremely fine. Okay. Now, meshing is the most difficult part of this particular COMSOL multiphysics. Okay. So we should know on what meshing this structure can give converge us to a result, because it takes memory also. And basically what is happening while using for a finest meshing is we are going to more you can say accurate results. Like we are working on a second, third, fourth decimal digits results. We are obtaining those results. Okay. So and that is very important also, because when you are working on micrometer and nanometers, that means 10 raised to power minus 9 result is making a difference in my analysis. Okay. So I should have a very finest output I should get. So presently I am going for an extra fine only, and then you go for build all. So it will take, you'll have this bar which is showing. Now you can view this has builded the mesh on it. Okay. Once you have builded the mesh, then there is a study. Now here also you have an icon study, and in this study you can choose what study you want to. You want a parametric estimation, you want static estimation, sweep also we can do. You can have a sweep of wavelength, and based on it you can plot an effective refractive index, what exactly you want to do. So that all can be done by using this, and you can just click on the model analysis. Now because we want to see what all modes we are generating there and whether they are converging or not converging, you can just see there is an transform icon which is your effective mode index. That is an effective what we should get, and frequency is C constant divided. That means I'm just giving it this 3 into 10 raised to power 8 divided by 700 nanometer, and I am looking for my mode around 1.45. Now this is we cannot have a exact this thing where we'll get a convergence of our field. This only we can get it when we sweep it. Okay. As you'll see, if I'll compute, the modes are not being converged here. Okay. I'll just show you. I have clicked the compute. Just now you can see my waves, that is not been confined in the core. Okay, it's not confined. Now what was the problem? Why it didn't get confined? Because my structure is not an optimized structure. It is just, I am just showing it for the study purpose. You can see this pitch and this pitch is not same, so it is not getting confined. Okay, so I have to optimize my these structures so that it can get confined to this core. Okay, that is the best when And when that will come, when this particular dark brown and red just get confined in this. So I could even have one more ring inside to confine this particular modes into it. Okay. So this is how you can do the model analysis. And once you can you can give number of modes also. Okay. And you have so many 6 modes I have given. So 6 modes have been generated, and we are getting for those 6 modes the effective refractive index, out of which you can choose this 0.674, and even you can change your this where you want to look around, that you can change. You can even change it to 1.55. You can compute it. You can check your refractive index, and then once you have done this, then you can have those values. You can plot it wavelength versus refractive index, or wavelength versus this refractive index versus frequency. Okay, so this is how you can design any PCF, and you can do your model analysis on using this, you can say, COMSOL multiphysics. Okay, so now any question, if anyone wants to ask on this particular, then I'll take other designs also. Hello.
Participants, please, if you have any questions or doubts.
Can I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Amit? Ha, good afternoon.
I have one doubt, ma'am. Regarding with optimization, can we do that with that parameterization option? Can we try to change something and identify that?
Optimization is what basically it will be done only if you see previous literatures. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, because without any literature work, the optimization cannot be done. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so you have to check previous literature. You just see what all they have designed, and then on that you work on it. Like suppose they have a diameter of 0.16. So what you can do, you can just go for it. I'm just changing the radius or diameter of that air hole. I'm even changing the structure. Suppose they have designed an hexagonal structure or octagonal structure. So you can go for a decagonal structure, or even you can go for some other nature inspired geometries also, which are nowadays very popular. Okay. That means you can look into any flower like structure, sunflower structures you can go, or you can go for multi-core structures also, dual core structures also, Fibonacci series structures also. So that all can be done once you do your literature work. Your literature work should be complete. Okay. So nowadays what it is, nowadays people are working on liquid sensors also, PCF using liquid as a liquid sensor. So what they are doing, instead of filling that air hole with the air, they are filling it with the liquids. So liquid can be your this ethanol, methanol, benzol, water. So they become liquid sensors. Okay. Then again, as I'm saying, just making a geometry is not important. Geometry, once we have made, we need to optimize that geometry, and that takes a lot of time to optimize the geometry. It takes 3-4 months to optimize any geometry. Okay. And you can even make gas sensors. Okay.
Yes, yes.
All these are very popular, and they are being used in the industries also. For industrial purposes, you can make gas sensors, CO2, other gases, H2S, CO2. So all these libraries are available here. Easily you can just select that, as I said, in the material, you add material carbon dioxide, and the inner hole, the core which we are defining, 0, 0 pe jo banaya tha, that we are defining it as a core. Okay. So that material you choose that as CO2.
But in the parameterization, any dimension only can be changed, or any other material properties also we can
No. Parameter only dimensions can be changed.
dimensions.
You can define any variable there. That means
Okay.
whatever
you entered, those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Materials cannot be changed there.
Okay.
Material can be changed only in the material property only.
Yes.
And then in the active window, you have to click that particular, you can say, section of your design, ki which material for which section we want to choose it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
you. Okay. So you can even, this is just the basic which I am taking it. You can even move ahead. You can make a surface plasmon structures also using it. Okay. Then you can check the, even you can make a PCF or your photonic sensitive sensors also. Okay, very easy to make photonic sensors, and you can define the sensitivity. You have an expression window there where you can define the expression, and then you should know what expression we want to put. And the best part is it has a help file also. Okay, so the things which you don't know, ki what expressions and how we need to write it down, there you can find it out. Ki, whether we should use a square bracket or curly brackets. So that all can be, is all given in the documentation part. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other? Okay. Now I'll take another example because this is also an interesting, another field which I'll like to take it to it. PCF, so this photonics I have taken. This is your MEMS field, okay? And how we can make a cantilever type of structure using those MEMS field. So I'll take one as a, okay, I'll just, wait. So you can see there are two types of analysis which we can do. This is eigen frequency analysis and a static analysis. Even we can do the frequency domain analysis. Okay, I'll just take the eigen frequency analysis and I'll open the structure for you. Okay, now I'll just explain it. First, what exactly we are trying to make is, we are trying to make an energy harvester. That means any force which will be applied on this bigger block, the square block. I'll go to first parameters which we have defined. I have defined parameter R load. Load means because we have to calculate its potential and all. So a load of 12 kilo ohm is being connected and an acceleration of 1. That means we are applying force of 1 G. Okay, with respect to 1 G is one new this gravitational unit which we are defining it here. Okay, now what it is, this is an energy harvester. That means any ambient energy, okay, is going to be harvested by this particular structure, and it is going to vibrate because of the applied, you can say, ambient energy. That means that is available in the atmosphere. That is freely available in the atmosphere. Okay. So what we have defined here is, this is a proof mass in between, and there are two cantilever beams on the side. Okay. Because this is a piezoelectric type of structure. Okay. So piezoelectric is, if any force is applied to it, it is going to deflect or generate a voltage based on the deflection, and vice versa. Okay. So we are applying an acceleration, and then we'll have a deflection of this particular device. Okay. So for this also, as I said, we have to first define the parameter, and then in the component, we have to go for the geometry. So geometry again you can have. Now here, because it is, you can say, three-dimensional form of the structure, it has a depth also. So starting in the model wizard, we have clicked on the 3D icon, not on the 2D, but in the 3D icon. Okay. So first I'll just show you the proof mass. Okay. And build selected. Okay. Now it is also, if you, these are all optimized design which we have worked constantly, and then I'm just giving you the results. The width of this particular is 3500 into 3500. That means it is a square shape, and height is 360. Now here it is, height is in the, as you say, you can see there are three dimensions available, X, Y, and Z. So this particular dimension is showing us the height. Okay. And the depth is nothing but the length of the device. Okay. And width is the width of the device. So here you have to keep in mind the depth which is coming is nothing but the length of the device. Okay. So this is your 3D view of one this. Now on this, I need to build another a square, you can say, block. Now this is by clicking on this, on the geometry. If I'll just right click, and I'll get a block here. This is the block. Okay. So on block, I have clicked and I got it, and I have given the dimensions. Okay. Then another one, this is your silicon. I have named it also, labeling. I have changed it because it becomes easy for me to what exactly I'm making it over it. So on top of it, I am making again a piece of height 12 micrometer. The reason of it is because on that 12 micrometer, I'll fix my cantilever beam, and this will be hanging in the bottom dial. In bottom, this is going to hang. So if I'll just go it, build selected, this is beam. Now, if looking like this, we cannot see whether it is built on it. So you just have this graphics being available here. So this is a zoom box. Okay. Once you click on this zoom box, and then you just select this particular edge. So you can see a 12 micrometer block is being built on it. Okay. And again, this is an icon to view its 3D view. Now this is, you can have a 2D view of this. Okay. So here also you have many of this. You can see, you can select the domains out of it. You can select the boundaries. You can select the edges. You can select the points. So all these things will be used once we move forward. Okay. So I have built a another square proof mass of 12 micrometer height, and just check it where I have built it. Initially it was at 0, 0, 0. Now I have to build it in the Z direction over 360 degrees. So I have given 360 dimension to that. Okay. So this you have to, agar if I would have given 0 only, तो ये merge हो जाता उसके अंदर ही. Okay. It won't be on the top of this square block. Okay. Then I have to make the beams. So beam 1, this is of silicon. Okay. And the length and again width of the beam, it is on this this particular direction. This is your length, width, and this will be your length in the y direction, and height is 12. That means at the 12 0 से 360 के ऊपर 12 पे मुझे इसको यहाँ पे 0 0 और इस पे 360 है, और y एक्सिस पे कहाँ सेंटर होना चाहिए, दैट आई हैव कैलकुलेटेड, क्योंकि ये दिस वाज 3500, सो आई हैव जस्ट टेकन आउट 2000 की मेरी विड्थ होनी चाहिए, तो दिस मच एंड दिस मच शुड बी रिमूव्ड and it should get it sticked here. So if I'll just say, so you can see it is built here. Okay, I can just do it like this. Even I can even zoom in. देखो, अब इसको zoom in कर दिया तो you can even see this particular window. Okay, so even you can flip this. ये you can see here कि ये उधर इस that end it has got fixed there. Okay, you can just flip it in any of the direction, and once it is flipped, like you want to bring it to its original position, click it on this. So this is, then it's a 5-layered you can say structure. So on this silicon beam, I have laid a layer of silicon dioxide, which is going to act as a dielectric. Okay, so again, the width of this layer is 0.1 micrometer, because the silicon dielectric should be very less, because it is just bifurcating the layer between the silicon substrate and a piezoelectric substrate. Okay, so that they both are not shorted. So, and now this has to be built on 360 plus 12, that is 372. Okay, and then I'll go for the build selected. So again, as I say, we cannot view, so you just go it like this, zoom box, and then you can zoom this particular edge and you can view it, just view it. Just see, you have all these layers being built on it. Okay, so how much amount you want to view, zoom, you can zoom it. Okay, and then again we can go for it. Okay, so this is you can even flip it and you can see what exactly is being. Okay, so again I'll bring it to my this position. Then over it I have a gold electrode layer, because that is the bottom electrode from where I'm going to take the charges. Okay, so I have to place that electrode layer also, and that is the width of that is 0.2, and it has to be built at 372.1 height, and then again go for a build selected. Then after that I have a layer of piezoelectric material, because that is only the material which is going to give me the piezoelectric effect. Okay, and that material is, we should know those materials, ki those are aluminum nitride, zinc oxide, PZT, all these, even if we have nowadays polymers which are being acting as your piezoelectric materials. So people are changing these materials. Even this proof mass material also people are changing. I have used silica as a proof mass. People are using titanium as a proof mass, but it should go with the foundry. It is not like that ki, we are design should very well go with the foundry. That means the fabrication people should say ki yes, what you have designed can be fabricated. It is not like ki, so it should be in consultation with those, because whenever you design something, you need to give your fabrication flow also to those fabrication people. Ki I want to, it has to be a bottom down approach, or it has to be a top up approach, and then what type of etching you have to do. It is an isotropic etching or anisotropic etching. What should be your wafer dimension in which this particular design can be implemented. So first, all those literature has to be known to us. Then only we should go for this design. Okay. Then over this particular, we have to go for the, you can say, layer, which is the top electrode layer. Okay. And then again, you can zoom it. You can just view it. You are getting all those layers. Just see. So you can see all those. Just see. So this was a silicon layer. Over it, we have silicon dioxide. Then you have a gold of 0.2 gold layer. Then this was ZNO layer. And this is your, again, top gold electrode, which you can see it on the left side also. So this is a 5-layer device, which, and these all depositions, we have done it on the beam. Okay. Now, once it is being done on this, so this is a single cantilever side. Now, if I leave it like this, so you'll have a curling of the device. That means it is not going to vibrate. It is going to curl. Okay. So to make it a stable device, I'm just connecting another beam on the other side so that it remains a stable device. Okay. It doesn't tilt or it doesn't curl. Okay. So we have to make a union. That means these two should join each other. So we have to make a form union, and this has been formed. Once the union has been formed, okay, once we have made a union, what I'll suggest you define the material of this device. Okay. Before going to the second beam, you define the material of these things, because otherwise we have to keep on choosing those domains. And if we have defined these materials, and even the, you can say, the constraints, which boundary has to be fixed, what should be your fixed constraint, what should be your load, all these, if we have defined, automatically when we mirror it, it gets defined to the another section also. So that is the best part. We have to remember, we should keep this thing remember. Otherwise, the next thing is you can start making or mirroring it on the other side. So geometry, you'll get the flow chart of the geometry like this. But best part is we can define the material also. So as I said, now what we have to do is we have to go to the material section. Okay. So this is your, and you can go to the add material section. Now here in this, because I am working in the MEMS side, so I'll go for the drop down menu of the MEMS. Okay. And in MEMS, you have these type of all materials available. Okay. So because I have to define this silicon, so I'm taking polysilicon as a semiconductor material. This is polysilicon, we take it because market we get it in this form only. And when you double click it, it gets added there. Okay. And then in metals, you have to define gold, because we are choosing the electrodes of gold. So double click on the gold, you'll get it there. And then piezoelectric material, you have to go it for the, here it is there. Okay. So in the piezoelectric material, you have ZNO. All these piezoelectric materials are available. If you can just see here, you have barium titanate, you have barium sodium niobate. All these are piezoelectric material. Lithium niobate, lithium tantalate. This is PZT, lead zirconate titanate, and these are of different grades. Okay. So that means it is, there is two properties of this, which is your D31 and D33. So in which direction it is giving you the piezoelectric property, based on it, they have been defining these grades of the material. Even as I said, the polymer is working as your piezoelectric. So PVDF is being defined here. Okay. You can see PVDF defined here. Quartz is also there. So there are so many which are being available based on your application, based on what, like if you want to make LED, you have gallium arsenide also available here. So I have, as I was working on zinc oxide, it is a easily available target which we get it in the market. So I'm just using zinc oxide. Okay. Now the best part is once you have made design, there is no need to make your design again and again. You can copy your design and then you can change just material into your design, and you'll have a new material based design. So that is the beauty of this particular software. You can even, instead of ZNO, I could have substituted PZT there. And then I have analyzed it, what results I am getting it. So there is no need to again and again make your structures. You can change the, you can even change the material into it. Okay. So this is, now if you just see silicon. So what all domains, okay, before it, I'll just show it. I'm getting this particular. Now after I'll union, this was the part which I was showing it. Now after this, I'm doing it a mirror. That means this section, you can just mirror it. Okay. So in mirror, what we have to do, this union 2, we have made a union, and that union, I'm just making it an active here. Just check it. Union 2 is active. So this window, we have to select it, what we need to mirror. So there we have a, okay, this select box. Okay. And in this, you can just select it, the point there. What you need to, now this, as I have not selected it properly, so we will not get it, the mirroring. It should be proper, full, it should come out to be. Yes. So this, if I leave it here, then that means all my boundaries are being selected, and this I need to mirror it. You will just see it. These all boundaries are being selected, and that I need to mirror it. Okay. So I'll again just go it and then mirror. So I'll go for the build selected, and just you can see you have this, I'll just zoom in. Just the another, you can say cantilever structure is now being formed. Okay. Even you can just flip it and check it. If you want, you can even check it whether everything is by zooming it, zoom box say, you can see all my layers are present or not. Otherwise, you'll find a problem in your, just see. So all by mirroring, we got all our 5 layer structure here also. So this was our silicon beam. On this, we have laid a SiO2 layer. Then we have a gold electrode here of 0.2. This is our ZNO, which is of your 2 micrometer, 0.2. Again, a top gold electrode, which is there. So on both the side, this is there. Now, similarly, we can make it a 4 beam also. So just by again mirroring this or selecting this, and point of reflection, you can even this normal vector to plane reflection, if you change it, then where you want to reflect it on, what should be your y-axis, it should be 1, it should be 0. So that way you can build this structure to a 4 beam structure also. And so best part is you save it as 4 beam and then connect both the 2 beams more from it. Okay. So this is up to this. We have formed a union also, and this is all what we have 2 beam structure with. Now we are defining the materials, as we have said. Now this is a polycrystalline silicon. Okay. So now these all domains are your poly. That means this full, first this is your domain, second, then this and this, all these domains. So this is deselected now. Why? Because I have again made it this, so it got deselected. So I can again select it. I'll put it here, so that domain comes. So top is also there, that will come. Now here there is a problem because everything will get selected. So what you have to do, you have to zoom it. Okay. So that only that which is suitable for you. It is like all layers should not get selected. All are not of silicon, only the bottom is of silicon. So I am just selecting this, and similarly on this side you can just make it this also, and you can again zoom it, and this is my, so oh, deselect over there. So this is what we have for silicon. Okay, and then similarly SiO2 you have to define. You have two layers of SiO2 on the second and ninth side, it is there. Gold you have 4, so you just have 4 domains, and ZNO you have 2, so you'll get in this. And so this is what all being, and you can even check here. When you select it on the material, you will find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all are being giving there. Okay. So this is what we have defined it for our material. Now, once you have defined it, you can even just, you can close the tree also, so that the another tree works. Okay. Now, as I said, we should know what solid mechanics, yeah, what is the physics which we need to know, that we would, like there we have added for the optics, eigenfrequency, electromagnetic frequency analysis. Here we are going to make it eigenfrequency piezoelectric analysis. Okay. So the solid mechanics physics we have added here. The physics need to be known to the designer. Okay, what physics he, and then in that we have to fix the constraints also. Okay, because what it is, whenever we are applying acceleration on this proof mass, these beams are going to move up and down. So we have to fix these constraints, these side constraints. So again, what we have to do for fixing these constraints, like you say, we are selecting this particular edge. Okay, and you'll find the edges are 1, 4, 7, 10, 11, 61, which get fixed on this side, and on this side you'll find the edges fixed on the other side. So there are two fixed constraints on the two sides. Okay, similarly you have to apply a body load. Why we need to apply the body load is this is very important. You have to apply this particular equation, solid into rho, solid dot rho into g constant into acceleration. So this is the force which we are applying it to it. Then only it is going to give us the result. Otherwise, it's not going to give us the result. Okay. What expression? That means what force you are applying it here. Rho into, you can say g constant is g into acceleration. That is, we are getting your this force which we are applying to it. Okay. Now, then you have to go for the, you have to define, because we are, as it is a piezoelectric layer, we are conserving the charges from it. Okay. That means the charges which are generated, that has to be converted to the voltages. So that electrostatic physics need to be defined. Okay. And in multiphysics also, piezoelectric effect we have to define. Finally, as I said, meshing is very important, and this structure need to be meshed. Okay. So first what you have to do, you right click into it and you define the size of it. Okay. And once you get the size, in that you have to define if there is many of the, you can say, this predefined, and you have element sizes also. So you have normal, you can have extra fine, fine, finest, coarse, like this you can have it. And then you have a this swept mesh also being present there. So build all, we'll do it. You just see. Once you have defined the meshing and you do the build all, then this structure is meshed. Agar if there is any, you can see it, it is being meshed on each and every domain. So if it is not meshed properly, it is going to give you an error. Okay. And you can even see the progress of this by scrolling this window. And you can see it is giving you your finalized geometry has 12 domains, 65 boundaries, 122 edges, and 60 vertices. Okay. And complete mesh has this much only. Now, even you can have, you can define your mesh elements, mesh sizes, and here there are two types of, you can say, meshing. One is your free tetragonal is also there, but that meshing for these type of structures plays a very difficulty. Some errors are being, that becomes very fine. So as it is a very you can say thin layered structure, so meshing those layers and connecting those, so in that tetragonal meshing, normally we get errors. So we normally prefer to go for the free triangular. The best is if you can succeed in meshing the structure by free tetragonal, then nothing like it. But we normally face problems, and if meshing is not done, then we cannot go for any of the study. We'll get errors only. So it may take 2-3 days also to remove those errors. So I'll suggest ki you just go for these free triangular meshings only. And these are, again, as I said, you will not find anything, all these things in the literature, not also in the webinars which are being given, not even in the, you can say, the YouTube videos which are being available. It is just by your hit and trial and your working on it, you get to know what is to be done. Okay. It is just each and individual person knows it, who's working on it. He knows it, what is to be done for this particular thing. Okay. There is no hard and fast rule which I can define it here. Only people are going to say you mesh it and you take these steps to mesh it. But I can even say this meshing is working for this structure, and if I'll just show it, I am changing it to my pyramidal proof mark, this meshing may not work there. Okay, then again I have to keep trying some iterations there, which is going to work. So that is only the way of doing it. So that is only what I can suggest you. Okay. So after once we have defined the meshing, then we have to again add the physics. Okay, add the study, what study we want. Okay, so here if you can see the study which I am interested in, your eigen frequency study. So that study I have added here. Okay, so eigen frequency, and you can just even see it here. What all you can even here also, you can search for number of modes, how many, but the lowest mode at which it resonates, that is only what we are taking it for our device resonating frequency. Okay, and then you can compute it also. So as this is a bit bulky structure, it will take some time, and you can see the progress here. Just see. So here, as this is a fixed constraint, here I am getting my frequency this. Even I can check here what all I am getting it. All where these modes are being, you can check out on in this. Okay, where all it is being generated. Okay, so this is showing me I'm getting my maximum stress on this particular side, and I can even show you the animation also, which we are, this is what is being, and this is at different frequencies, which I'm just showing you. I have a animation player section also. And here you can see, you can have different, one more thing which I have not discussed here is, this is eigen frequency. Now another which I'll show it to you, I'll just close it, I'll show it to you. Yes, I have this animation also, we can play. Yes. So just you can see this structure, because something I just change it there. So it is, I have again optimized that particular structure so that it is resonating at 556 Hertz, and the maximum which we wanted, this should be here only, it should be maximum. Okay, in the proof mass and on these edges. These are fixed constraints, so it has the lowest stress which is being generated. And even this is going to vibrate in the Z direction, plus minus Z directions. Okay. So you can get animation of those structures, and this is also one mode which I think I have. Let's see what I have saved. Yes, now you just can see how it is vibrating. This is GIF which can be made using your COMSOL only. So based on the, you can see it is going in the plus and minus Z direction. These are your fixed constraints, and it is vibrating in plus, it is going plus Z, minus Z. So based on this you say displacement, the voltage is generated. Okay, so that also we can do. We can generate voltage also. We can check what voltage it is generating. So for that, we have to connect R ohm load between the bottom, this gold electrode and top electrode. So once you are completing that circuit, then you can have a IV characteristic. So that's why we have defined the all this comes under the static analysis. So I'll just show you that also, what we can go for it. Now, these all are the same things which I was showing it to you. All those. Now, you cannot, actually it is a very heavy software. It consumes too much of a memory. So you cannot do many analysis in the same file. So what is desired is, what is advised is you make separate files for the different your analysis. Like as I have made for eigen frequency, a separate file is made. Then I have copied that file for the static analysis. So I'll open that file, and for static, you cannot have a multiple, like you are doing eigen also, and then it hangs in between, because 8 this GB RAM is minimum for it. And if you have a 16 GB for your this thing, then you have a very good working of the COMSOL here. So now for the static analysis, I'll again show you कि I have the same what all the geometries that I was just, it is the same, just see, the same geometry was there. The meshing is also same, okay, the same, okay. Now I'm doing the this for static analysis. I have added the stationary. So you go for it, go for this study, and in study you will find the stationary analysis there. Add that study, and then we can have different studies being given here. So for stress, you can see this key, the stress that is on the two edges of the beam, okay. One is on the fixed edge, one is on the free end. Now these are two different stresses which we are showing it here. One is your tensile stress and another is your compressive stress, okay. And we can even plot it, and if we are plotting it, so we are getting this type of stresses. Now here there is a parametric sweep which I have applied. The acceleration is sweeping. That means it is varying from 1g to 5g, because I am not aware of it. What is the exact acceleration present? I have not measured that. What is the acceleration of the ambient acceleration being present there? So I am just varying it. You can vary it to 6 also, 7 also, but I am just varying it from 1g to 5g. And you can see this is the point. This is arc length from 0 to 2500. Arc length is that length of the beam, okay, where I'm just making a sweep, and how this stress is varying. So these are the points which are being attached to the proof mass, and it is giving me this is here we have compressive stress, and here it is going to become the tensile stress, then tensile, and it is becoming compressive on the two sides of the beam. This is on one side of the beam, this is on the another side of the beam, okay. Similarly, if we will see it only for as I said, I was just sweeping it. This is just for one acceleration. You can see here at 1g I am getting it. I can now I'll just say what is the displacement which I am getting it along arc length with the you can say this displacement I am getting at different accelerations. So at 500, so at 2500, what I have shown it to your this in the GIF, that is getting displaced maximum on the edge which is connected on the you can say this side, fixed side, you have no displacement being given. This is, we get it for this. Similarly, this has been, you can plot it for one, you can plot it for this. And now potential which we are generating. So this is, we are connecting a load of our kilo ohm load, that is of 12 kilo ohm. Now why we have chosen it as a 12 kilo ohm? Because the volume, we know this also gives the volume of my proof mass. So based on the density of the material is known to me. So based on that, I am just finding it out what should be the you can say the mass of my device, okay. And after knowing the mass, I am just appropriating it this mass to this mass, this much ohm load need to be connected, okay. And so I'm generating the voltages, and if you can see, it is being generated in the millivolt, okay. Just maximum somewhere around 400-500 millivolt this structure is generating, okay. So these all different static analysis, we can have acceleration with respect to the acceleration with respect to the total energy curve, what with the varying acceleration, how I'm getting the energy, because this is, as we are talking of the energy harvester. So we should know what energy it is being generating. So these all analysis we can do it. We can even generate the report of it. We can export the result of it, and we can take it to, you can say, to any other plotter. You can take it to origin, and then you can have multiple plots. You can even have 2-axis plots. That means on one side you can have displacement, on another side you can plot a one message, whatever you feel like. So that is all based on what you can you want to present it in your you can say research work or in your paper. Okay, so this is about your two beam device. Okay, and oh, wait a minute, I'll again open. I think I just back करना था. So these all, if you can see it, I have just tried to change it to reduce the frequency, the width of my proof mask. Okay, I was just trying to change the width of my proof mask, and that again in collaboration with the fabrication people. We have a 3-inch wafer, and in that how much depth we can achieve. So based on that, how much minimum I can go to it. So that optimization we were trying to go for it. Now there are many other, I'll show it to you. Okay. Another one, there is another procedure also. You can work on your console in this way also. So in this way, you can work on 4-beam, you can work on a trapezoidal proof mass, or you can work on. Now, there is another way, which is your like this. I'll just show it to you. This is working on an work plane. Okay. Now we have, because here I have a beam of trapezoidal. So we were working on a work plane. So I'll just, in brief, I'll just show it to you how we worked on it. So first, we have built this block. Then again, there is a proof mass over it. Okay. And then we have laid a work plane for this. Okay, so that at least we know the dimensions where we are working in. And then after this, we have extruded our geometry over it. After this work plane we have defined the geometry. Then you need to extrude that geometry. First you have to define it. What all the, so for defining it on the work plane, you have to define the points. Okay, you have to select the points, and point 1, point 2, point, like if I'll just to show it to you, just see. So this, in this way I have defined in the 2D these points, first, second, third, fourth, like this. And then we have by Bezier polygon we have joined these points, and then you have to extrude this. So on extruding, it comes to the 3D view again. Then you work on the work plane for the SiO2, and then extrude it again, so that it again comes to the 3D view. Okay, so in this way, this geometry is being formed. Final geometry, you can just see it is being formed working on this work plane. Okay, you can mirror it. Okay, so this way the final geometry has been built. Okay, so there are many ways by which you can work in this particular console. Now, there is a lot which we have in this. So I like to end my session here. And any questions which you want to ask?
Participants, please. If you have any questions,
Participants, if you have any questions, then I'll stop sharing my screen. Okay.
I think there is doubt. So,
Hello.
I would like to thank you very much for
any question. I'm not able to hear you. Please speak loudly.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yes, any questions from the audience, please? Okay, no questions. So we can end this session, I think, right now. Okay, so I would like to thank you, ma'am, for your very informative and fruitful session. Definitely, this session will have helped many of the researchers, and they must be aware about how to work on this COMSOL multiphysics, and they can work and design some of the optical components. So thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing your valuable time.
I would like to add in it, in case they don't have any questions presently, they have in future any question, they can mail me to my this MNIT mail ID rsharma.ec@mnit.ac.in. I'll be helping them.
I'm writing it, ma'am, in chat.
Chat, may I write it down? Okay.
Okay, so I have written the mail ID of ma'am, that is rsharma.ec at mnit.ac.in. So participants, if you have any questions or any doubts, then you can anytime raise your query and mail to ma'am, and she will try to respond you.
There is a one query which was there. Is this software have a free version to use? No, this is not. This doesn't have a free version. You should work on a licensed version only. Either your university or some other place, you should have a licensed version, because free version, basically you don't get the full you can say utilities there. So some midway you get stuck with it.
Okay, so thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable time. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Yes, and another message for the participants. So we'll have the last session of today, that is from 3 to 5, and myself will be taking that lecture. Okay, so there is some slight change, so I'll take that lecture. Okay, thank you. We'll meet you at 3 p.m. Okay, thank you, ma'am.